Welcome back to Telltale Books. I'm Greg, and I'm continuing my coverage of You Like It Darker, going through and reviewing all the stories in this new Stephen King short story collection. You know, if you watch me often, you know I love short stories. And these are new. These are relatively new. As far as I know, The Dreamers is completely new in this book. If it's not, somebody please tell me. The best information I've got is that this is its first appearance in print or online. And it also happens to be part of Stephen King's Castle Rock series, not really related to any of the other Castle Rock books or stories, but it does take place in Castle Rock. Okay, so the place is mentioned. I think that makes it part of this series. None of the Castle Rock stories are really part of an actual larger narrative going on. They're all kind of standalones, but they just happen to be placed in this town. In The Dreamers, you have a man who works for a temp agency, and he's really good at taking shorthand dictation. He's faster than anybody else. So he gets a lot of work. He's the agency's favorite employee, but he latches into a job working for a researcher, and requires him to kind of leave the agency. So he makes a decision to do it because, first of all, the job sounds interesting, and second of all, is it's paying really, really well and lasting a while. And he has to jot down what the subjects of the researcher's experiments are, psychological experiments. He needs to jot down what the subjects are saying and what the doctor is saying to them. And what the doctor is doing is he's injecting them with a mildly hypnotic drug and having them go to sleep. And then he's talking to them in their sleep about what they are dreaming at the time. The dreams start out with people just going to this cabin that has a green door, and the cabin is painted red, kind of Christmassy. But then with subsequent subjects, somehow the doctor is able to get them to go into the same dream until something comes out of the dream and manifests itself in reality. I won't say anything more than that. It's very much a Lovecraftian cosmic horror type story. And it's a very good story. Not terrifying, though. I didn't find it very terrifying. And part of what really makes a Lovecraft story is his antiquated style of writing and some of the really gloomy kind of descriptions that Lovecraft does. King does none of that in this story, and I think it hurts the story because it takes away the atmosphere that you get with Lovecraftian horror. And so even though it's a good story and one that I would recommend that you read if you like cosmic horror, if you like Stephen King, if you like Lovecraft, but understand this is not one of King's best, in my opinion anyway. And it doesn't feel like a Lovecraft story. And for that reason, it lacks, Lovecraft stories are not particularly terrifying, at least not to today's readers, but they at least have an atmosphere about them that is appropriate to the subject. And I really just feel this story lacks that, and would have been made better if King would have gone ahead and put at least some of that into his writing here. Instead, he just writes in a straightforward manner. And I think that takes away a lot of the potential impact of this story. Because the idea here is really, really good. And other than not really capturing the atmosphere, the story is really good. The character is good. So, not the strongest in the book, not the strongest in King's 50. uninteresting story worth your time reading. Have you